Alright, let's talk about something truly baffling, shall we? The idea of mass deportation. Setting aside the humanitarian crisis it would ignite, there's this myth that kicking out millions of immigrants would boost the economy. Forcibly removing millions who contribute to our workforce and communities wouldn't just be morally reprehensible, it would be economic suicide. We'll explore how deporting millions of immigrant workers can lead to inflation and economic turmoil. Buckle up because it's about to get messy. Let's start with the most obvious consequence: labor shortages. Immigrants make up a significant portion of our workforce, especially in industries many Americans won't touch. We're talking agriculture, construction, meatpacking, essential jobs. Imagine suddenly yanking millions of these workers out of the equation. Businesses are left scrambling, trying to fill these vacant positions. Employers are now forced to compete for a shrinking pool of workers, driving up wages. Those higher wages get passed directly on to you, the consumer. Suddenly, that head of lettuce that used to cost a couple of bucks, try 5. This isn't just theoretical, we've seen glimpses of this in recent years. So, we've established that mass deportation would create a labor vacuum that sucks the life out of our economy. Imagine walking through a once bustling market, now eerily silent. But hold on, because it gets worse. The ripple effects are far-reaching. It's not just about individual businesses struggling to find workers, it's about the entire community feeling the strain. It's about the entire intricate web of our supply chain grinding to a halt. Picture delivery trucks sitting idle, cargo trains halted. Immigrant workers are the oil that keeps this engine running smoothly. They are the backbone of many industries. Remove them, and the whole thing seizes up. Factories can't operate, machinery breaks down, fewer workers mean fewer goods and services being produced. This scarcity affects everyone. Farms can't harvest their crops, factories sit idle, and the ripple effect continues. Construction projects grind to a standstill. Imagine half-built homes and unfinished roads. This scarcity leads to even higher prices. Everyday items become luxuries. Remember that head of lettuce that went from $2 to 5? Now it's 10, and there are only 3 left in the entire supermarket. Now imagine it's 10, and there are only 3 left in the entire supermarket. The scarcity is palpable. That's the reality of mass deportation: empty shelves, sky-high prices, and an economy teetering on the brink of collapse. The impact is devastating. Deport them, and suddenly you have a glut of vacant properties in some areas, leading to plummeting property values. Neighborhoods become ghost towns, leading to plummeting property values. Communities fall apart. It's a lose-lose situation fueled by a policy that's as short-sighted as it is cruel. The human and economic costs are too high to ignore. Let's talk about small businesses, the backbone of the American economy. Well, I've got some bad news. Mass deportation is coming for them with a vengeance. Small businesses, especially in industries like restaurants, hospitality, and agriculture, rely heavily on immigrant labor. Now, imagine a world where those workers vanish overnight. Suddenly, that family-owned restaurant down the street can't find anyone to wash dishes or bus tables. The local landscaping company can't find anyone to mow lawns or plant flowers. Faced with mounting pressure, these businesses are left with few options. They can try to raise prices, but in this economy, good luck with that. Or, and this is the most likely scenario, they can simply shut down. Remember the housing market crash of 2008? Of course you do. It was a time of widespread financial turmoil, with countless families losing their homes and the economy teetering on the brink of collapse. Well, mass deportation has the potential to trigger a similar crisis, but with a cruel twist. This time, it wouldn't just be about financial mismanagement, but about the forced removal of people who are integral to our communities. Immigrants are deeply embedded in the housing market, both as renters and homeowners. They contribute significantly to the demand for housing, and their presence helps stabilize neighborhoods. In some areas, their departure would lead to a glut of vacant properties, sending rental and housing prices plummeting. This would not only affect property values but also the overall economic health of these communities. Landlords, suddenly faced with empty units and dwindling income, might be forced to sell off properties at a loss. This could lead to a cascade of financial difficulties, affecting not just the housing market but also local businesses and services. But in other areas, particularly those with already limited housing stock, deportation wouldn't make a dent in the demand. The scarcity of available homes would keep prices high, exacerbating the affordability crisis. prices would remain stubbornly high, pushing homeownership even further out of reach for many Americans. This would deepen the divide between those who can afford to buy homes and those who cannot. And let's not forget about the banks. They are heavily invested in the housing market, with billions of dollars tied up in mortgages. They hold billions of dollars in mortgages, and a sudden wave of defaults and foreclosures could send shockwaves throughout the financial system. This could lead to a tightening of credit and a slowdown in economic growth. It's a recipe for economic disaster. The ripple effects would be felt far and wide, affecting not just the housing market but the entire economy. Let's talk taxes, shall we? It's a topic that tends to make everyone's eyes glaze over, but trust me, this is important. Immigrants, despite what some politicians would have you believe, actually contribute significantly to our tax base. We're talking billions of dollars annually, money that goes towards funding essential public services like schools, healthcare, and infrastructure. Now imagine suddenly ripping a giant hole in that tax revenue stream. That's exactly what mass deportation would do. With millions of taxpayers gone, the government would be left scrambling to fill a gaping budget hole. They could raise taxes on everyone else, but in this economy, good luck selling that to the American people. They could cut spending on essential services, but that would only exacerbate existing inequalities. It's the kind of fiscal irresponsibility that would make even the most hardened Wall Street banker blush. So far, we've focused on the domestic economic impact of mass deportation. We've seen how it affects local businesses, labor markets, and even the social fabric of our communities. But what about our standing in the world? How does mass deportation affect our international relationships and global influence? Well, buckle up because it's about to get bumpy. The repercussions extend far beyond our borders. The United States doesn't exist in a vacuum. Our actions have ripple effects that can be felt worldwide. We're part of a global economy, intricately connected to other nations through trade and diplomacy. These connections are vital for our economic health and national security. And deporting millions of immigrants would send a clear message to the world: America is closed for business. This isn't just about economics, it's about trust and cooperation. Now imagine you're Mexico, a country with deep economic and cultural ties to the United States. Your economy relies heavily on this relationship. Suddenly, your citizens are being rounded up and deported en masse. Families are torn apart and communities are disrupted. What's your response? Economic retaliation. This could mean tariffs on American goods, restrictions on trade, and a general chilling effect on foreign investment. We're talking about significant economic consequences. Tariffs, trade restrictions, and a loss of trust can severely impact our economy. American businesses, already grappling with labor shortages and supply chain disruptions, find themselves shut out of key markets. The ripple effects can be devastating. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. The economic and social costs are too high to ignore. The economic reality check: why deportation is a disaster waiting to happen. As we've seen, the economic impact of mass deportation is far-reaching and complex. It's not just about lost jobs or higher prices. It's about unraveling the very fabric of our society, undermining our values, and jeopardizing our future. Because the truth is, immigrants are not the problem. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. And the next time someone tries to tell you that mass deportation is a good idea, just point them to this video.